Well, if you know me, you knew eventually I would do one of these dad videos about reading the book. Yes, indeed, reading the Bible. I think it's imperative and important for dads to be in the Word, reading the book. Why? Well, reading the Bible actually gives us fellowship in communion with Jesus himself. John chapter 1, verse 14 says, "The Word became flesh and walked among us." So when we read the Bible, we communicate and commune with Jesus himself. We have fellowship with Jesus himself. So the question becomes, what is Jesus doing? Well, he only does what he sees his Father in heaven doing. Well, what's the goal and the objective for us as believers? Well, the goal and the objective is to be like Jesus. And how are we going to be like Jesus unless we know what Jesus is doing, unless we read the book? Philippians says this, that Jesus was obedient to the Father even unto death. And because of that, God gave him a name higher than any other names. So if we want to please God, then we need to be obedient to the Father. Well, how do we know or how to obey the Father if we don't read the book? Jesus says, "Me and the Father are one." And then he prays in John 17 that they, us, would be one even as we, him and the Father, are one. Jesus prays that we could be one with him in fellowship, in relationship with him. I love that prayer. And I love what the Father says as Jesus is being baptized. He says, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." Well, Dad, this is the message that I'm telling you today, that you can please the Father. Well, how? Being like Jesus. And how do we become like Jesus? Well, we read the book. We take the book. We hide it in our hearts so we would not sin against him. And as we read the book, we pursue the principles of God. John chapter 1, verse 1, we talked about this before, says, "In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God." That word for word there is the word logos, which means divine thought. So dads, today, if you really want to know what God thinks about you, well, read the book. Because in the book, the mind of Christ, the words of Christ tell you exactly what he thinks about you. So dads, today, remember, read the book.